Now we'll configure advanced zone settings and explore some of the great features in RTI audio distribution. Select the Advanced Zone Settings link in the upper right. This will take you to the Advanced Zone Settings screen. Under Zone Name, you could rename your zone. There is also a mute toggle to mute and unmute a zone. In the Output section, a primary source drop-down menu is available to set a zone to a source or turn it off. The secondary source drop-down menu can be used to designate a secondary source to any zone. In addition to the available sources, there are two built-in doorbell chimes. Once a secondary source is enabled, either manually or through an event trigger, it will temporarily switch the current zone to the secondary source. This can be used to play chimes, page, voice assistants, and play sounds from a third-party device. Once the secondary source is disabled, the zone will revert to its original state, whether it is off or playing a source. The secondary mode determines how the secondary source interacts with the primary source when triggered. There are three available options in the drop-down menu. Priority will cut over completely to the secondary source, and the main audio, if playing, will be muted while the secondary source is playing. The mix option combines both sounds and plays them simultaneously. You can adjust the volume of the secondary source to ensure it blends well. The mix volume is configured in the volume session, and it will be reviewed shortly. If auto ducking is selected, once the secondary source is enabled, the main audio becomes quieter, allowing a secondary source audio to be emphasized. Once the secondary source is disabled, the main audio, if playing, returns to its normal state. Auto ducking settings are configured in the Advanced Source Settings. The Secondary Enable setting will allow you to turn a secondary audio source on or off for each zone. When enabled, the system automatically switches to the secondary source based on the secondary mode. This includes priority, mix, or auto ducking when the source audio becomes active. The RTI DSP amplifiers feature a 5-band parametric equalizer, which will be discussed in a later video. Presets can be created or imported. Once a preset has been designated for a specific zone, select the preset from the drop-down menu. We can return to this setting later. The mono stereo field defaults to stereo. If mono is selected, the speakers in a zone will be mono-summed. Each speaker will play the same mono signal. This is useful in long hallways or corridors to ensure the same music is playing on each speaker in an audio zone. Do Not Disturb may be enabled or disabled. When enabled, a zone will not partake in a group. This is useful for offices or conference rooms that may not want to be part of a group during certain times of day. We will discuss grouping in a later video. The bridge mode options sets the operating mode for the amplified speaker outputs. When the left and right outputs are bridged, the power is combined to deliver greater output to a single speaker within a zone, rather than powering two separate speakers. This setting applies only to amplified zones. This application would be useful for two in-wall speakers that require greater power. In the volume section, there are overlapping options to adjust the output volume, startup volume, and max volume for each zone. The mix volume in decibels applies a volume reduction to the summed audio when mixing the primary and secondary sources. This is needed when summing two sources that, when combined, can potentially overdrive the audio volume output. Delay adds a short pause in milliseconds to the sound coming from the amplifier. This helps resolve timing issues where audio and video don't match, or when sound is played in multiple rooms and needs to remain in sync. It's also useful when speakers are far away and the sound takes longer to reach the listener. You can adjust the delay between 0 and 50 milliseconds to fine-tune the system. The audio test section features the test tone discussed in a previous video. You can set any of the 3 test tones by selecting a test tone and selecting Test. Use the same button to stop the test tone. Continue configuring the advanced zone settings for the remaining zones in the project. You can collapse or expand each section by using the minus and plus signs on the right side of each zone tab. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.